Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Vox Jed. Fight About It, and I return. It's my great return. Did you end up playing my voicemail that I had sent in to the show on the show?
I don't think I did. I wanted to, but I was like, this is already a half-length episode, and Jed's not introing it, and I kind of have a bit in mind here. So, like, I don't want to waste like 30 seconds even to a minute of this episode, even if it's gonna be if it's gonna be like half-length anyway. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll whole hog it. If it's a Vox solo episode, it's a Vox solo episode. And that's what we did. But we got by. I like to think we did pretty well. You mentioned that before the show that we haven't, you haven't sat and seen it yet. You've just seen bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And man, was it not my best work, I have to say. I haven't been streaming lately, in my defense, so I haven't had a lot of solo commentary time under my belt in the past couple months. I'm getting a little rusty. I'm getting a little locked at the joints here. But, I'm coming back. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back swinging.
You for sure did a better job than I could have done on a solo episode just off the gate, because if I were doing a solo episode, I would have to have, a topic list that I could follow to, religiously.
Yeah, I didn't have a topic list. I wasn't moving shit on a topic list at all. I was literally sitting, eyes closed, talking into a microphone for an hour. I didn't even look up at my screen even once, just because there weren't two of us. There was no chance that somebody was going to need to send me something to look at on the show, So I was just eyes closed, meditative position, just focused up on, am I talking? Does it sound good? Does it make sense, And usually the answer to all three of those questions was no. But we kind of dropped the WWE theming, unfortunately, for last week's episode. Just because a guy can only be so hype on his own about WWE before he just sounds like he's just way too enthusiastic about it. I swear, you've put me in the worst positions for content creation I've ever been in, I think. And it's fine. It's not a big deal.
It makes you a flexible artist.
I'm already a flexible artist. That doesn't mean I have to be fucking doing backflips every day, dude. But no, I think we, in all seriousness, made a pretty middling, I made a pretty middling episode last week, and I'm sorry about that. I actually feel quite bad about it because I think it might be one of our worst ones, and it's half the length too. So, I have a lot of guilt. Honestly, I have a lot of guilt about that. But it's all right.
I don't see it that way. We have given ourselves such... I've had nothing but time to think. So I've thought enough about this. We have given ourselves such a tight timetable for this. First of all, a lot of podcasts don't do weekly releases. It's common, but there are a lot of people who are we just can't manage it. We do it every other week. But not just that, but the fact that we only allow ourselves 2 week breaks for an entire year's worth of episodes is incredibly tight compared to other podcasts. So I was thinking about it, and it was if there is an episode where one of us have to solo it, which hopefully I don't want to make a habit of it ever really happening again, but this does set the precedent for there will be a Jed episode at some point, if Vox is out for some reason.
And I thought it was nice to set the precedent. And it lays a blueprint. That's all I really wanted to do with that one. I think it did that well, at least. In that it laid the blueprint and groundwork for when the day comes, inevitably, that you have to do this show on your own, you can manage it. For, that episode. I the cutting to half length was partially to save me on the day, because it's I got half the hosts here today. So, I can only ensure that I can make half the content, for this particular format. Which is, I'm one man doing one thing here, all right? But either way, I don't woe is me about it. I just thought that episode kind of sucked content-wise, and that's okay. Not all of them have to be winners. We do this show every week,
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was actually really funny because when you had released the episode, my mom had asked me, and she was like, "So did you see it?" I was like, "No." And she's like, "So she's just putting out the episode and you haven't seen it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine with it." And I realized how much of my image is so heavily tied to you, and how my public persona is just Yeah, sure. Vox can represent me too, but I trust Vox enough that the way that you present yourself online heavily represents how I present myself, and I'm fine with that completely. I have like
Yeah.
whole trust in you, which was
Yeah, and
nice.
I
It was nice to
figure
kind of have
that's
a
the
moment.
thing. I've had a hard time placing it. I've had sort of a hard time again, we've had a lot of time to think. We're gonna get onto our theme today. Our theme today is this upcoming summer, but there's some groundwork to lay about this upcoming summer.
Oh yeah.
And our plans therein. At least on my end, there's groundwork to lay. So like talking about this stuff isn't necessarily out of theme. What was I saying? I lost it in that
Uh,
like caveat clarification. Oh, I
yeah.
represent you,
We
right?
were talking about
It's that
thinking, and you
it's
represent
that
me.
like I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I'm kind of the leader of my friend group. I like to think I'm kind of the guy at the front most of the time, and not that I want to
Yeah.
be like the big honcho in the fucking friend group. Hell, I'd rather be somebody in the middle, frankly. But I've always tried to figure that out because it's like, why is that? I've never gone out of my way to position myself that way. The only thing I could figure is that I made the Discord that we all sit in as friends, but even then, you guys all have like as close to owner permissions in it as I do, and there's only like 10 of us in there. So it's not like I'm fucking
Yeah.
king shit or anything. But like, why is it that when a decision needs to be made for the group, everybody kind of looks at me like I'm supposed to do it? And I thought about it, and I realized that it's that I'm just very trustworthy, I think. Like, that's it, is that
And
my friends just
decisive.
have a lot of implicit, like, trust that I can make a good decision in, like, a reasonable amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're the type of person where it's like, hey Vox, we need an idea for an episode. I have a couple ideas. Do you have a couple ideas? And like, I'd run that past you. I've got big deuteragonist energy. I'm a
Yeah.
big like main character's best friend kind of guy. And I think it honestly works for me because that's what I had this moment of as well while I was thinking about you representing me. Is that like my online persona is tied up with you at this point, to the point where it's like I don't think I would continue doing anything online. I would definitely keep the robot just because the robot is so like me at this point.
Yeah, the
But
robot's
like I
cool.
don't think I would continue doing any online Twitch or podcasting without you because it's just like I am I am the co-host, but I'm such like an auxiliary as well, where it's like this project is run off of your passion for creating and my passion for fuck yeah, I want to do it too. We'll have a good time. We'll do it together.
Yeah, and
And
that's what's so
honestly,
great
I
about it.
like that.
That's what's so great about it is that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to word this in a way that doesn't make me sound like the most selfish, like self-centered guy in the world. But like I don't really mind all that much, honestly, on like the day-to-day. It doesn't like bug me. It's just like a thing that I've considered as like a fucking why. Why am I like the central focus of all my relationships with people? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have no idea what the hell is up with me. But like that's something I've been grappling with for a while is just like a why? Grappling makes it sound like it's like a bad thing, but no, it's just something I've been mulling over is a better term for it, is just the why of like how am I in the like social standing position that I'm in, and what does that say about me, as a
Yeah.
person? And so there's a lot of just self-discovery happening. It's self-discovery spring is what's happening.
Yeah. I thought there was a lot of self-discovery happening. Turns out it was a manic episode. Like I
Yeah.
fucked up my medication real bad with alcohol, and it sent me into just like a permanent illness where it's like every day I run a fever, a low grade fever, and I've been doing this for 2 weeks straight. Like I'm still sick for everybody on the
Oh, you want
show.
to get into it? You want to
Um,
get into it? We can talk about it
I'm
again.
still
We haven't talked
yeah.
about it on the show yet. Like I'm like right here.
No, we haven't. But like I got really, really sick by drinking alcohol on WrestleMania weekend, and that decided to just have a fucking moment with my antidepressants, as I was warned of. Um, and I guess I didn't realize that it would just send me into withdrawals and like severe withdrawals, and that has caused me to have like low grade fevers 24/7. The first week I had just terrible like emotional regulation. I would have manic episodes followed by depressive episodes, followed by anxious, followed by like I'm completely fine. Um And it was just a cycle of that. And the worst part about it is this illness has something called psychogenic fevers attached to it. And that's the fevers that I've been getting. And that means that if I think just a little bit too hard, my body overheats, literally. Like, if I think, or I talk, or I fucking breathe too hard, I get a fever. And doing any of those things makes a fever worse progressively until it hits like 100.5, and then it like it caps out there. So at least there is a cap out. At least I'm not gonna like fry my brain by thinking too hard about something. But like, man, this illness is kicking my fucking ass. And the worst part is that like I've seen like 1 to 2 weeks, but then there are some people who are like, yeah, I've had this for like 2 years, and it's just there's nothing you can do about it. And I genuinely, if I have to live my life with low grade fevers, I don't like. I think I would change the course of my life. I had talked to my mom about this because she was like, yeah, you know, people, they have low grade fevers and they just have to live with it. And I was like, I don't think I could be a therapist then. Like, genuinely, if I'm like this for the rest of my life, I can't be a therapist. I'm too goddamn exhausted by like thinking about things, let alone thinking about other people's problems.
I'm sorry, I just let you talk for a minute. I let you talk for a minute, and I was like, yeah, I carried last week. Let's let Jed have a minute to explain why he's sick without me interrupting. And so I sit back, and then I started to zone out for like a split second, and then I come back to you saying like, yeah, if I have to be like bedridden, I won't be able to be a therapist. Isn't it sad? My career might be over like a 2-week illness that will be over in like a few days.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was saying. You had like zoned a little bit, but like I was
zoned
saying,
back into like, well, I might have to change the course of my life if this lasts forever, and if this lasts forever, then like I won't be able to be a therapist, and I'm just gonna have to live my life like this, and it's like, whoa, what the hell is Jed on about? I just heard that, and I was like, I need to stop him before like people start clicking off because of the saddest podcast in the world, dude.
No, I was talking about with I was having a conversation with my mom and how she was saying that low grade fevers, some people just have them for the rest of their life, and I had to just like be honest with myself and be like, if this is a chronic illness that I have, I'll have to divert. I don't think I can be a therapist like this, just because of like exhaustion. And it's not even that like I'm like, oh, man, I can't be a therapist. It's just like that is out of the cards now, and that is okay. I'm really flexible about that sort of thing, and I take pride in that fact that like if something happens where I have to be fully stopped for it to work, I have to be like fully halted in my tracks, but then I'll be able to divert. But if I have any momentum left, I'm gonna fucking carry that momentum like a motherfucker.
Right. Dude, I got an idea. I've had me an idea recently. My idea is this summer. Let's get into our summer topics, shall we? We're about 15 minutes into the episode. It's damn fine. Were you about done with being sick? Because if you're not done there, we can finish that. No,
that's about where I'm at. Other than I've played a lot of video games.
We've been playing a lot of video games. Speaking of, we haven't played any video games recently, and I'm kind of sad about it. There's a Sea of Thieves event coming up about fishing, about our fish mish, dude. We should do that. It starts like tomorrow, but it ends in like a week. So either way, this summer I've just had a crackpot idea. Speaking of potential career paths we could take. So we have a lot of public speaking experience in terms of this show. We're good at projecting, and we can talk about something in front of us at length.
Oh, yeah.
You know who does that for a living? The announcers for WWE. We should get into small-time wrestling announcing. No. Here's what I'm thinking. We should get into it as a duo act. We should start approaching small-time promoters in the area and going, hey, you're running a wrestling event? You want some announcers? We're two guys who are perfectly willing to do it. Give us names and shit, like that you want us called out during the matches and shit, and we'll do it. Fuck it. We'll sit down and do it. Here's 50 episodes of, like, proof that we can talk with each other and about something coherently. You know? Like, I would not be opposed to the concept of it. I wouldn't be opposed.
Genuinely. Like,
I think it could be a lot of... Because you would think we're not doing WWE, we're not pulling out fucking, like, John Cena or Roman Reigns or anything like that. No. We're gonna be calling out, like people like fucking El Generico, the fucking, like, that's a real one, by the way, the, like, small-time, like, luchador wrestler out onto the stage to fight fucking Big Ron, the, like, built fucking mustachioed guy who works up the street. You know?
Yeah, he like works the mechanic shop up the street and like
he's
does
like
this
still
in the
greasy, and it's not oil. It's like engine grease. You know?
Yeah,
he's wearing the wife beater that he like wore to work this morning. You know, to do wrestling in the evening.
Would be so much fucking fun because
you travel and you get paid and you get to watch cool wrestling matches. You get to watch shitty wrestling matches.
Yeah, and we watch like WWE.
And you get to be a part of the show.
Often, to the point where it's like we'll say things and then the announcers will say it a second after us.
And we'll go, that's what I was saying.
Quicker on the fucking we were quicker on the commentary trigger than the people paid to be there. We could do that. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not saying their job is easy or anything, but
I'm not saying their job is easy. No,
I think it's like a career path that until we got into WWE, I had a blind spot for. But it's like it's like finding out that there's a career path that gives you everything you want. For me, that's you know, that's like a solid salary if I go anywhere with it. Travel expenses and shit. If you get anywhere over the local scene, even, you know, like that will like you get yourself with like a mid-range promoter. You're gonna be traveling around the area at least a bit, like trips to Orlando and shit. But like, you know, like major city centers and shit nearby. You know, and that's cool. So and it's just like, but it would just be so cool anyway to like say that's what we do. That's what we do for a living, is that. And it's like something I would be perfectly happy doing. You know, I wouldn't mind it even a little bit. I think that's fucking cool. Yeah,
because it's just shooting the shit, especially with like WWE. Well, that's what realize.
But it's shooting the shit about the match with each other because they have opinions.
But that's
they
the
just
thing.
sit there and go like, yeah, I like this guy and you like that guy, and then now we're gonna like talk about what we like about these guys and what sucks about the other guy at each other, and kind of like who banter at each other. You know, So there's a little shooting the shit to it, I guess. Yeah.
I had this moment while I was watching WWE where I was like, yeah, I don't know. Announcers are pretty professional, and I don't think I could do it just because of the air of professionality that they have. And then I heard one of the announcers do, Pat McAfee doing the fucking, like, Roman Reigns, whoa, sort of thing. And it's like, all right, they don't give a shit about professionality. They don't care. And nobody else cares.
Are hired so that when fucking, like, Booker T comes out and like flips somebody like over a table, they could go like, holy shit, he did that, you know? And it's just like, that's cool as hell. That's a good job. That's a cool job to have.
Such a fun job.
Like that's up there for like ideally, if I were there in a decade, I'd be pretty happy with myself. You know?
I think we could be some banger talk show hosts. Not talk show, call-in hosts. Like that
radio host
show.
I think we could do a radio show like that with like guest interaction pretty well. We have so much like potential that we're not able to use in the podcast format that I think about consistently, and like those are just parts of that like muscle we don't get to stretch very often here, and so they're exciting to think about. They're really excited to think about. No, they're exciting to think about. And
because there's a lot of possibility for like our career moving in weird directions once we're in person.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's much easier to go into Facebook Marketplace and be like, somebody needs like 2 fucking shitheads to entertain. Sure, fuck it, we'll do it.
You should do weddings and fucking like adult birthdays.
We should do weddings.
We should do like venues. We should do all the venues. No, we should do all the venues that strippers do.
I had passed by a strip club a couple of weeks ago with my mom, and I was like, I had made like an offhanded joke, because sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, hold on, we gotta stop here first, Mom. At the strip club.
At the strip club.
Yeah.
I like I'll make those more normalized though. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And she was like, I don't know, would you ever go inside of a strip club? And I was like, yeah, probably. And I realized that we had talked about it in the past, is that we want to go to a strip club at some point, but not to watch the strippers, to sit facing the other way from the stage
and like eat shitty
food.
Wings and shit.
And
like just sit there and eat like a normal restaurant. It's like, fuck, it's fucking loud in here.
Jesus Christ.
You know? Just like and being like openly oblivious to the dancers, you know? Just like they're not there. They're just other patrons of the restaurant who are just being real frisky.
Like somebody comes around and they're like, "Hey, can I give you anything?" And it's like, I'll take a refill.
Can I get water?
Yeah. Oh man.
Just gonna give me like
I don't know. I realized that I just want to do things at this point in my life. I just want to like, do things to do things, and that was part of it. Of just like, fuck it, like nothing is stopping me from going to a strip club and doing a stupid bit. There's fucking nothing stopping me. I'm gonna do it, and I think that's a really good way to live your life. I've realized.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I've just started like weighing in, just like, would I look stupid doing it? Is it okay for me to do that? Like, am I allowed to do that? Who cares? I'm a grown man. I can do what wait a minute. I can do it, and nobody's gonna say anything about me doing it, and I can just fucking do it. Like, the social anxiety goes away when you realize that, like, you see like other grown adults just do shit all the time. That's just like, yeah, whatever, that guy does that, sure.
And especially,
to the point where it's like, fuck it, I'll go.
Yeah, I'll never do bits solo. I refuse to do bits solo.
Solo bits are good.
Others you.
I like doing bits with cashiers sometimes. Occasionally, the mood will strike me, or I'll hear the cashier say something funny, or like the card will decline, or the chip won't read, or something the first time, and we'll have to rescan it. And, like, I'll just start a banter there. And they usually don't mind it. But, like, sometimes they hate it, is the problem. And, like, you feel like a dick, because it's like, oh, right, this is just a guy trying to get through his shift.
My God, sometimes banter is terrible. I don't know if I've talked about this.
Well, I don't sit there and, like, ask about the weather or anything. I just make a little quip about what's going on. And sometimes they look at me like I'm a character in a Marvel movie in real life, saying something, like, incredibly cringe to them. And it's like, dude, come on.
I don't know if I talked about the story, but it's such a phenomenal story for just we could have fucking ruined her day. So I was 13 years old at this point. I was fresh off of an attempt at my own life, and it was really bad. It was a really bad one, and I had left, and I was like, I'm gonna get some like candy, and I'm gonna kind of forget about it because that's. It's nice. It's nice to just get, like, a drink and candy after you have, like, a manic episode or, like, a depressive episode, more accurately. And I go in there with my mom, and we purchase it. And the lady behind the counter, she's this sweet old lady, and she's like, oh, how are you guys doing today? And we both kind of gave her the, like, that you give to strangers when you've had a really terrible day. And she looks at us, and she goes, well, at least it's not a rope around your neck. And we both kind of chuckle. And earlier that day, I did. And it was just like, if we had brought that up, I think she would have been devastated for the rest of her life. But, like, my mom just looked at it like,
don't bother me like that. When something like that happens, though, like,
people
expect you to be so bothered by it when it's like, it's far too funny for me to be mad at. It's far too, like, weird of a coincidence for me to acknowledge as, like, offensive, And so it's like, it's so fucking funny. And it's just like, you have to hold on to that fact. You can never tell them. They can't ever know. And when it's a stranger, that's fine. But I have some stuff that, like, not with you, of course, because I would never tell you if that were the case, but I don't, to be clear. But I have some stuff with some friends where it's like, oh, if you knew what fucking happened, if you knew the context of what you were saying to me right now, man, you would be real mortified by it, And so it's just like, it's a very funny, like, thing, because I've been on both sides of that, and it's like, dude, I've been on the side where you do get told, is what I mean. Like, I've been told in the past, it's like, because what do you say?
The best video is I can't remember. It's that, like, 100 people talk to this person, one of those kind of videos. I can't remember what the actual channel is called, but it's one of those kinds of videos. And she goes, like,
what do you mean one of those kinds of videos? You don't know what the channel's called? What the fuck are you saying?
I had like 100 liberals talk to one conservative.
I haven't stomached one of those. I can't, like, I get clips of them on TikTok even, and it's like, who cares? Each one of these people in this room knows for a fact they're wasting their time. Why is anybody bothering? Because they never educate anybody in those fucking clips. They're all just like
Yeah,
assholes past each other about it, and sometimes one guy is right. You know?
But that whole channel is nothing but that, where it's like, yeah, we hired 5 gay people and 1 straight man, and we'll have to see if they can decide who the straight man is out of all of them. And it's just, I find that channel really bizarre. But there was one lady on it who walks up to another lady, and she goes like, "Oh, hi, I'm Sharon," and the other lady goes like, "Oh yeah, Sharon was my grandma's name. She was a slave." And then the other lady just looks at her and she goes, oh, "I'm sorry."
Jesus
just because it's
Christ.
like, what the fuck do you say to that, dude?
Where do you begin? Where do you begin? I'm being reminded that some people just don't know how to socialize. Some people just don't know, dude. Like, some people will just come out the gate and go, like, yeah, I'm having a pretty bad day. And it's like, oh, that sucks. I hope it gets better. Yeah, my hamster fucking exploded this morning. And it's like, yeah, that sucks, dude. Like, I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm having a great day, though, and I just met you 2 seconds ago. Can we talk about something other than the saddest shit in the world? Why, like, I get it. When you're sad, you're sad. I get it, alright? I understand.
Yeah.
But the problem with being sad is that, like, you can't put sad as your first foot forward with somebody. You know? That's the trouble.
Yeah.
And it's like, when somebody like opens that way and they're like, it's not something tragic, I've had people open with way less of just like, yeah, work sucks. It's like, yeah, work does suck. Anyway, you're not at work though. We're hanging out. What's good? I don't know. Fucking thinking about fucking my work, dude, and how much it sucks. And it's like, dude, get out, leave, go.
Stop being like miserable for a moment.
If you're just gonna sit here and be miserable about work during your entire off time from it, go, get out, leave. You know, like, I genuinely can't stand people like that. It's like, if you're actually genuinely upset about it and want to talk about it, sure. But, like, that, you know the kind of guy I'm talking about, the kind of motherfucker who's like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, I don't want to talk about it. And then just sits there and, like, fucking, like, the whole time. Yeah, dude, I hate that shit. I can't stand it. It's the worst shit in the world. You know?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, because I like, as somebody who I would like to say I have a lot more patience for a lot of, you know, emotional issues. But, like, Jesus Christ, sometimes if I'm in a really good mood and somebody's in a really bad mood, I, like, the part of my brain that's like, hey, be compassionate, try to talk through them about this. They may, like, genuinely really need somebody right now. Kind of gets overwritten a little bit by, like, can we play the video game now? For some reason in my head, and I have to like fight it off like a dog, swatting it with a newspaper, like back, get out of the house, dude, get out of here.
All right, we're back. Well, we're back. Man. I say we're back. You guys have experienced no time. This is probably very, very jarring for you as a listener, but let me tell you a little story. The piece of audio you were just listening to is from like 11:40 p.m. Friday night. The audio you're listening to right now is at exactly 3:09 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Now you may be asking yourself, Fox, how did we get here? And oh man, the answer is I hit my head really hard. But that's
did.
That's the short part of the story. So every so often, like most shows in our format, we need a bathroom break in the middle of our pre-recorded show, and so I'll pause the recording at like a time that seems convenient. Which is kind of why I was sort of at the end of that conversation, I was literally standing doing the pee-pee dance because Jed wouldn't look over and see that I needed to go to the bathroom. I genuinely, if I did not jump and run at the moment that I paused the recording, I would have pissed my pants on the show. That is how close you got me to that line. I'm
sorry about
it's
that.
not your fault. You had no idea. I've done the same thing to you in the past just because I didn't have the Discord chat open. I just now I rest with it open because of that, and I assumed you were the same way.
Same, yeah. But I do now. I forgot about it.
I also rest with it open because OBS, like any keyboard input from like spacebar, enter, or escape, I think, all stop the recording. If start recording was the previous button you hit,
like open anyway.
And so I have to have something over OBS anyhow. But anyway, we take our bathroom breaks occasionally during this pre-recorded show, and we try to edit them pretty seamlessly. Sometimes we succeed, and sometimes, like today, we do not. Because again, I got real up on that line of Mr. Pee Pee Pants, and so I had to full sprint. And what I didn't know was that there was a lawnmower-shaped obstacle in my path in the dark at midnight when I went to go full sprint. Okay, so this is a very particular explanation. My living situation dictates that I must leave my building and enter someone else's building to be able to piss. You know, it's not a long walk.
Yeah.
It's like genuinely out the door, round the corner, enter the door, bathroom, that's it. But I digress. I step outside, I step off my front porch full clip because I had sprinted through my fucking house to get to the front door, and I sprint off my porch full clip, hit a right turn to hit that corner, and go sailing ass over tea kettle right over the top of the fucking thing. And what's embarrassing is I tripped over that same lawnmower the night before. And I was like, I should move that so that doesn't happen again today. It won't happen again today. I fucked my knee pretty bad. Like, I knocked the shit out of my shins pretty bad that night. So surely I won't do it again. Are the thoughts that were going through my head as I fucking clambered from the ground.
Careened over it.
Covered in fucking grass and dirt. I probably had a grass stain on my face. I'm shocked I did. But, like, I just scraped myself up really bad, but I ate it with my forehead and saw white for, like, a split second. And I was like, okay, that is enough reason for me to be worried enough to go to the hospital. So we're not recording the rest of this episode tonight, I don't think. And so I had to go take a little hospital visit and get a CT scan, and everything's fine. Everything's A-okay. I just, you know what I'm thinking about? There used to be security cameras on my corner. There used to be, like, cameras on my corner pointed, like, right at my front door, and it used to piss me off that, like, the neighborhood had, like, put up cameras right there. But, like, god damn it, do I want that footage now. I'm real mad they took them down. Yeah. Because to appeal to get that footage of me just, like, screaming at you from the front door to, Jesus Christ, man, look at the Discord, and then slamming the front door, and then whoop, boonk, right onto my head would be hilarious. Christ. Like, that was some repo clip style shit. It was genuinely that kind of a fall. And so I go to the hospital and I get checked out, and everything's okay. I don't get chicked out. A lot of people go to the hospital to get chicked out, but, like, you know, that's becoming harder and harder to do these days. It's not a year thing. But that's not for me. I got checked out, and oh man, the funny story. I have a couple funny stories about this hospital visit. So do you mind if we get into this? I know this is supposed to be a themed episode,
I don't mind at all. I genuinely
you don't damn near beat your head open on
funny.
The show every week is all. So this is
so like we've talked about it in the past. The show is unreasonably hard to, like, get rolling. Sometimes,
there's always some bullshit. That's the problem. There's always some bullshit in my life or your life that prevents us from recording the show on time. And it's I say my life or your life not even to be polite, but, like, as, like, a genuinely, it's a 50-50. I'm not being generous to either of us by saying, like, we both have some shit going on every week that, like, prevents us from doing the show on time. And, like, somehow we've managed to get it out. That was, I think, our only, like, last week was, like, our second episode ever that we were late on, I think. In terms of, like, you know, a YouTube release. The Spotify release has been a couple minutes. The Spotify release has been a couple minutes late a few times. But, like, I don't really count that.
Yeah. But, like, genuinely, because I thought it was so funny because I tried so hard to show up because I was sick yesterday, and then it all came falling apart because you hit your head, and I was like, Jesus Christ, we cannot catch a break on it. But yeah, what happened at the hospital? Because hospital stories are always fun.
So I pull up to the hospital, and hospitals skis me out anyway. Like, hospitals and, like, doctor's offices and stuff make me antsy. And so, like, and they put me on edge, and I just don't, I don't know what it is about, like, that kind of an environment that does that to you. I think it's just, like, how you're supposed to feel there. I don't know. But, like, I just show up, and like, I walk up to the counter. I was like, let me do the talking. Because I was, like, talking to Basil. I was like, I don't know how my, like, speech functions are right now, because I haven't spoken much since I hit my head. Like, without being, like, panicked. So I don't know if that stutter was panic or that stutter was, like, genuinely I hit my head too hard. And so I was like, okay, let me do the talking. That way I can, like nail this out, you know, assess, yeah. And so I walk in, and we get up to the counter, And we're standing there, and we get up there, and the lady goes, "How can I help you?" And clearly just like an ER like triage nurse at like midnight dealing with an idiot who fucking nearly busted his head open. Just going, "How can I help you?" And then I need to run this to you. I'm wearing the same outfit because I went to bed in it last night. Mm-hmm. I walked in wearing Hey Dudes, and then gray gym shorts, like white and gray, like baggy gym shorts, and a Minecraft t-shirt. That's what I walked into the hospital wearing. I looked like shit, but I didn't care because I was like, it's the ER who doesn't look like shit, you know? And so I was like, whatever, dress for the occasion. So anyway, I'm standing there, and this lady looks at me unimpressed and goes, "So how can I help you?" And I go, yeah, I took a real massive header. I took a massive header off the side of a lawnmower, and I need to like ensure that like I just need some. It's not a big deal. I just need somebody to look at it. I just need somebody to look at me and tell me I don't have a concussion. Is all. And she goes, "All right, we can do that for you. Here you go. Type in your social security number." And I lean over to the numpad, and it's like, first of all, the fact that I just told this woman I hit my head 30 minutes ago, and the first thing she asked me to do is like recite like an 8 to 10 digit number into a keypad is like foul. But that's beside the point. Part of the process. And she's like, "Put in your social." And so I'm tapping away at it, and I'm tapping slow because I don't know this keypad and I don't know its temperament, so I don't want to fuck up putting my social in and have to do it twice. And so I'm going kind of slow about it, and my hands are already shaky. And the lady goes, like, she's been dead silent while I type the first 5-6 digits of my social, and then as I'm typing the last 4 in, at some point she just goes, within the last 2, I think, she goes, "So did it knock you out?" And I go, "Oh no, I'm just typing slow, I'm sorry." And then I finished and I hit enter, and she goes, "No, the fall." And I went, no. I got right back up. I sprung right up. I was disoriented, and I did take a couple ibuprofen, so I can't really feel it to assess it right now, but like I could tell it's there. Like, I could tell I have a headache, and I could tell it would be fucking killing me if I didn't take those ibuprofen. And she was like, "What? All right, cool. Come back here." And so they take me back, and I'm speaking with this other nurse, and this other lady is sitting across from me, just making hand gestures. Like doing the, like, come here thing to me. Like gesturing for me to give her my hand. But they led me in and sat me across from this woman who is talking to me actively. I'm not gonna look arbitrarily all the way to my right to see somebody doing like this at me and like waving my arm over to try to get me to hand it to them. So I had my hand on my knee that whole time, and then I finally, like, she bumped my hand, and I noticed her doing it, and the only reason I know like how long she was doing that was because like Basil told me after, and so I give her my hand or whatever, and she like wraps like the hospital band around my arm way too fucking tight, first of all, but whatever. Why are they so concerned with those things like staying the fuck on you?
I think it's just because they have to like identify you, and especially for you, if you like have a brain hemorrhage and they put it on a little too loose and it slips off your hand, and they're just like, "Who the fuck is like seizing on the floor? We need to give him treatment, but we don't know who he is," you know?
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. But those things are tight, and so she puts it on me, and they're plastic, so it's like digging into my fucking wrist the whole time. But whatever. And then I was like, oh, that's all she wanted. She just wanted to put the thing on. Whatever. And so I take my hand back and put it back on my knee while I'm talking, not looking at her, and then I feel her bump me again, and she's gesturing again, like, please, give me your hand. And she hadn't spoken a word to me throughout this entire interaction. She was talking, but she was reading off, like, my biometrics to the nurse as I was talking to her. But she wouldn't fucking talk to me. I said, like, sorry to her, and she wouldn't speak a word to me, and I felt like that was kind of rude. But, you know, there's just people doing their job. She was probably just locked in. And so, like, I was like, and she, like, I see her gesturing for my hand again, and I go, oh, shit. And then she, like, not only was she gesturing with my hand, I look over, and she's got the little, like, clamp thing that goes, like, on your finger to get your fucking, like, blood pressure and shit.
Heart rate monitor.
Or your heart rate monitor, yeah. The word escaped me. And then she's got, like, the blood pressure. Well, yeah, because then she's got the blood pressure cuff also around my arm, because I thought that's what she was trying to do, because she had that in her other hand. But I didn't notice. She was trying to put it on my finger while my hand was, like, firmly on my knee. So, like, I didn't realize until now that she's like, how does he expect me to fucking... You know, like, and I felt like such a dick for doing that because I didn't think about it. I didn't know how much they wanted to do. I am 10 pounds lighter though. That's a piece of information I got.
Oh damn.
I think I've just sweat 10 pounds off. But I digress. And so I'm talking to this lady. I'm talking to her. I'm giving her all my information, and that's whatever. And we get back there. We get back there, and then they finally send somebody over to do a CT scan. Like, I sign all the paperwork, they send a tech over to do, like, a CT scan, and she sits me down in a chair and wheels me over, and I gotta say, this, like, CT tech, this imaging technician, she was amazing at her job of, like, keeping me calm and, like, engaged enough to not think about the fact that I'm in a hospital, because the whole time, up until she showed up, I was like, oh, my goddamn hospital... hate this. It sucks. I might have a fucking, like, brain bleed or something. This sucks, man. I want to go home. Like, I'm really, like, actually getting anxious in here. And so, like, then she shows up, and she's like, hey, all right, get in the chair. Come on. And, like, I get in the chair, and we go, and she's wheeling me over, and she goes, and we're talking, and she goes, how'd you hit your head? And I go, man... Oh, no, she was explaining CTs to me, is what she was doing. She was explaining, like, okay, so what we're gonna do, she was running me through the drill of, like, we're gonna put you in a machine, you're gonna be laying on your back on a bed, it's gonna, like, pull you in and out a couple times, yada yada. And then I had to stop her and go, oh, no, I had one of these done, when I was, like, 6 or 7, so I'm like a seasoned vet at this, don't worry. And she goes, oh, I see. So how'd you hit your head? Almost in response to that seasoned vet comment, humbling me. And I go, I tripped over a lawnmower. And she goes, when was this? And I go, 40 minutes ago-ish? Maybe 50? And she goes, at midnight in an ER, she goes, you were mowing your lawn 40 or 50 minutes ago? And I go, no. I was tripping over the stationary lawnmower at the time. No. Yeah. Rest assured, this wasn't a mistake a smart person could make. No. I tripped over a stationary object that I knew was there the whole time.
Yeah, I love
and we're cutting up and laughing. Yeah, what's up?
Well, because, like, I had talked about this when I had cut my finger open, because we've been to the hospital within, like, a month of each other.
Right.
But, like, when I cut my finger open, I had told the nurse, I was like, yeah, no, I cut my hand on a razor while I was cleaning the bathroom. And the guy looks at me, and he goes, you were cleaning the bathroom with a razor? Like, I was on my hands and knees with a straight razor, like scraping the ground. And I was like, no, it was in a bag. I just didn't, I just caught the bag, and it cut me. And he looked at me like I was fucking insane. But because they have to just make sure.
That. It's hard to explain that, especially like in a hospital setting, because usually I won't lie, but I'll do a thing I like to call nudging the truth a little bit so that it's not such a long-winded story. That's the only reason I do it, is genuinely like, I don't want to tell you that, like, I have to walk past that lawnmower to go to the bathroom and I tripped over it. I don't want to explain why I have to do that and why I ended up in this situation. So, in a lot of cases, I will nudge the truth in a direction. It was very hard for me not to do that with this obscure-ass story because I was in a hospital where it's, like, deathly important sometimes that you give them all the information. And so I was just like, fuck it. I know it doesn't matter because it's just a head hit. But, like, maybe something about this can help. And, like, and it was fine. The CT came back clear. I do want to reiterate as I wrap this story.
Yeah.
But we were talking about flinging shit and, like, stuff like that on the way back at one point. She was like, she pulled up the chair again, and I was like, you have to wheel me back. She, like, presented the chair to me, and I felt like a dick standing there just looking at her. And I was like, you have to wheel me back? And she goes, I don't have to. And I was like, and she sounded kind of defeated about it. Like, she sounded like kind of like, oh man, about it. Because she was going to have to push the chair back anyway, is what I'm realizing just now. Because she did push the chair back.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I was like, I don't know, I just feel like, I said this to her verbatim, I was like, I don't know, I just feel like an asshole making somebody push me around if I can walk, you know, and she goes, don't feel bad, you know, it's fine, you know, it's literally my job, as she pushes the door open, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so, and she goes, believe me, you've been nicer than most people, because, like, you didn't fling any poop or swear at me, so, like, I appreciate that, and I go,
Yeah.
like, because I didn't swear at her, you know, she was swearing to me too. To be fair, we were both being very like.
Oh yeah, casual.
Like you don't want to. I love when that happens. I love it because like we can. I love that's how I interact with people in those kinds of situations. I like to try and take them out of being a doctor in a hospital a little bit, you know, with it. Yeah. Where it's just like, unless we're talking about doctor hospital shit, like if we're just talking while you do something as a doctor in the hospital. I'll fucking talk to you about anything. I don't care. You're just like another guy to me right now if it's not important for you to be a doctor right now. And I find that a lot of people find that comforting. A lot of people genuinely enjoy that because I'm not like, oh yeah, we're going to be okay, doc, every 5 minutes. It's just like, just fucking see the game this weekend, you know?
Yeah, well, because like it's keeping your composure.
Yeah, and like, they're trying to do that for like bedside manner, which is great because like, For doctors, that's great, because they're doing it for my benefit. I have no assuasions that woman was just, like, putting on a face for me, you know? And maybe she wasn't.
And I'm sure that,
but, like...
Yeah.
She was definitely, like, giving me a little more leeway than she would, and going along a little more. And that's good. I liked it. I genuinely had some of the best social interactions I've had with a stranger recently, with that lady in that hospital. And then there was a little... There's a lot of I have a lot of ER stories because ER is good for people watching. So I have a lot of HIPAA violations to share with you. But I didn't take that oath, so I can do that. There was a guy with his daughter who was like his daughter was running around, and every time like she wasn't like running around, but she was being a kid, you know, and being very like chatty with like the nurses and stuff. And every time somebody would get close to her, she would go, "Don't touch me, you'll get blood on you." like just as like a funny. And I was like, and me and Basil were sitting there, and Basil turns to me and goes, what did this kid do that they're so jovial about it, but they are covered in blood? Because we didn't see her at all, because we were behind a curtain, so we were just hearing. And so she goes, don't touch me, I'll get blood on you. And otherwise she's having like a nice conversation about like horses or something with one of the nurses. And then she like they take her back for like into another room for just a second to like look at it and see what needs to be done. And the dad stayed behind, and he's talking to the nurse she was talking to, and he goes, yeah, man, they're a handful at that age. I don't know. She's all happy and jovial here. I don't know what that's about. You know, she wasn't like that at the house. Yeah, apparently she had also done what you did and just cut her finger open at like an artery or something and just bled a lot and needed stitches. And so like, you know, also we got to hear that child get stitches from the other room, and that wasn't a fun experience. That was real rough.
Yeah, stitches are a bitch. It's not even the stitches,
it wasn't even like a crying because it's like, it wasn't even like a despair cry. It was just like it was one of those, like, I need to make a noise to express this. I'm not really, like, upset about it, but, like, this is just what I have to do to get through this right now. So it's more of just like an, and not like a, shit, like kids do, you know? But either way, but he was like, this dad, dude. This dad and his daughter, man, they had my heart that night, because this guy's talking to the nurse and he goes, yeah, she wasn't like that at the house. She was like screaming and bleeding and crying and thought she was gonna like die. And so we had to like, we rushed her in, just cause like, I know she just needs stitches, but like, you know, the kid thought it was more serious than that. So I was trying to calm her down about it. And so we just like came here and they were like, oh, this is good or whatever. And they were just having a conversation about it. And he goes, yeah, but now we get her here. And then suddenly like, she's all like, good. She's like top of the world and in good shape. And, you know, she swears she's like that bee now. Like he said it like that. And I just went, oh, that's cute. That's real cute, you know?
That is.
And it was just fun. It was just fun. I ran into a guy who had apparently beat somebody up for, like, attempting to beat up his little sister or something. And then we were... Then there were so many, like, heartbreaking ones that I don't want to get into. There were a lot of, like, a woman coming in with her, like, newborn sick child who had been vomiting all day, who, like, couldn't do anything other than go, like, no, I'm not a bad mom, I swear to God, I'm not a bad parent. You know, even though, like, the nurses weren't accusing her of that, nobody thought that. Literally only she thought that. But sometimes. She was like, oh, no, I swear to God, I'm not a bad parent. I'm just new to this. I don't know what to do. He won't stop vomiting. You know, it was that. And we had to leave before that was over. I don't know if that baby's okay. To be fair.
Yeah.
But, like, there's that is one of the lighter ones. That's just, like, one of the things that I heard about or overheard in this hospital that night. But it wasn't too busy. So, you know.
Yeah.
It was a good trip to the hospital. A good trip to the hospital and back. And very scary. Does my insurance cover this Google search? And the answer is yeah. So I'm fine. The good news is the headaches have pretty much subsided. I slept like a fucking rock last night. I got home and I was like, man, this ER visit, and like, because we didn't get to finish the podcast and everything, this ER visit really like bit a chunk out of my day. I don't really feel tired. I just feel exhausted. I'm just gonna like I feel physically exhausted, but I'm not mentally tired. So I'm just going to rest at my desk and, like, work on some Unity stuff. And so I sit down to do that. I sat down to do that for a few hours. And then I went to bed and I couldn't sleep. And then, like, around 7 or 8, I just went. No YouTube video in the background, no nothing. Just immediately.
Straight
out. For no reason. And then I, like, it was one of those, like, it feels like you just blinked and now it's 2 p.m. the next day, you know? And I just, like, sat up and was like, oh, I'm okay. Awesome. Cool. I feel fine. my head's still a little swollen. Like, I'm still a little fat around the edges on my face. But that'll go away soon. I popped a blood vessel in my forehead, we think, because that's already gone. It was just really red last night, right where I hit it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, after the podcast recording, I was honest with you when we started recording that I knew that recording the podcast would be, like, too much for me, and then it would, like, overdo it for me, and I'd be feeling like shit afterwards, and that was true. I was feeling pretty good after it, and then I went to bed, and I woke up, and, like, I kind of just, like, stayed up and did shit in the middle of the night, because that's what I do when I can't sleep, and, it just progressively, I was still, like, not feverish, and I was like, maybe I kicked this thing, maybe that's what happened. And then, like, I got a little too comfortable there, and my body had to show me that, that's like, good, no, we can make the fever worse.
That's good, though. That whenever I, like, let up off a fever, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm letting up off a fever, I just start getting more and more gaps where I just don't have a fever. Like, the gaps just keep getting longer between, like, fever spells until it just stops happening. And then the other symptoms are gone in, like, a day or two.
This fucking illness is such a pain in the ass because it's such like an imposter illness where it's like right now I feel pretty good. You're not sick
until you think about it and you feel like you're like placeboing yourself into getting sick, but like you're only thinking about it because you're in pain now because the fever's hitting. But the fever's only hitting because you consider that the fever might hit, and because it's such like a head fever and such like a neurological sort of thing, you just kind of have to like. I think you said before the show. Last time, I don't know if you said it on the show, that your mom has been, like, encouraging you to, like, fight through it. I think that might be the move to get you out the other side of it, honestly, is just, like, as much as you can, don't push it, but, like, just as much as you can, as often as you can, just, like, choke it back and, like, refuse to be sick, you know, for, like, a minute or two.
The problem like, that I have is really just,
for endurance? One of them, anyway.
One of them. I just feel like shit holding my own body up when I'm feverish, so it's nice to be able to sit in bed and just allow myself to like rest against the wall is like the reason that it really helps. And also it's because I think it's just because like my bed is such like a quote unquote safe place for me that I don't feel as anxious when I'm in bed. But I definitely think that I've been getting
to be.
Yeah, I think I've been getting a little bit better, and I hope that that's true. But also, like, I had one of the worst fevers last night that I've had, like, to the point where, I don't know, I've realized that fevers are relatively similar to, like, a type of high, from what I can tell, where you just that first step
it does
when you
the
get
same
a bit of a brain
that getting
fog.
high does to you, where it's just like it's not the same exact methodology, but it gets there a different way by just like, what if we just like heat this thing to a boil for a few minutes You know?
Yeah. So that's where I've been at. That's why like edibles have really helped me, is because it's like those feelings go from Jesus Christ, I feel like shit, to like, oh wow, this is fun. Like it just takes
You
those
taking any
and
like
just
meds for it or anything? I know you're not typically like a
I
medications
can't.
guy. What do you mean you
There's
can't?
nothing to take.
Dude,
I mean
it's
like
nausea
because this is a chemical
it's nausea and
imbalance.
fever symptoms. You can like, it doesn't matter if it's a chemical imbalance. You're physically feeling like shit, so you could just cut that receptor to the feel like shit part of your body for a couple days by taking like some Tylenol and shit.
Yeah.
That would help.
So.
I highly
recommend
recommend
it. Feel
it.
like shit is like exhaustion, and I always get more tired after I take painkillers. So
good.
I have no clue.
Sleep.
That's the
Take the painkillers and pass out. Well, okay, okay. All right. Don't no. Actually, that can go on our personal quotes.
Hold on.
Take the painkillers and pass out can go on our personal quotes channel. I just felt you putting it on the card, and I was like, don't do that.
I was not gonna put it on the card. No.
Oh man. That might be the single worst thing I've ever said on this show out of context. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh man. But holy shit, this is episode 48.
We're on 48, the summer episode. And we just spent 30 minutes talking about going to the hospital, which is fine, I guess, because, like, again, when else are we gonna get the chance, like, such, like, a God-given opportunity to talk about going to the hospital, you know? The good Lord came down and has prevented us from not talking about that.
We have had situations where we've had, like, a set of recordings that we just decided to throw away and redo completely. And typically, if we were to have a catastrophic event that would make us stop recording on a day, we would just can that recording. But the first part of this was pretty good.
Usually when we have to can them, they're pretty mediocre or bad. And this one was good. And so I was like, not only, like, if we have to loop back tomorrow, I'd prefer to cut, like, that, like, 30 minutes. Like, I'd prefer to, like, have that in there and thus cut it from the amount of recording time we need to do today for Jed's sake and for my sake, because I don't know where my head is going to be at in the morning. And this was last night decision making. And so I was like, I don't know how my head's gonna feel in the morning. I know, like, it's because, like, the thing is, under my worst possible conditions, I could do this show fine for like an hour. But over that is like a ooh, and so it's like I think I want an hour and a half. You know? And so it's like I didn't want to push me, and I didn't want to push you too far. And so I was like, okay, now we're keeping it. And it's also just way too good of a 30 minutes. It's really a really good 30. Yeah. No, yeah. But that was good, because we just wrapped, we're perfectly at the 30-minute mark now of this section. So I think it's a good time to transition back to the actual theme of the episode, summer activities. Summer activities. SummerSlam's coming up, but we can't talk about that. We talked about WWE earlier in the episode. SummerSlam is going to be a fun summer event, but I have not much to say about it. Oh, dude, you won't believe who's on this week's SmackDown. You won't believe. We're having a small talk about WWE. No. I just looked over and saw it on my notes because I wrote it down not as a podcast note, but as a tell Jed next time you see him, it'll probably be a podcast recording note. Because last night at the hospital, Basil got a promo that was a 4-way match between Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Priest, right? Yeah, Priest. He was like nodding at me the whole time. Those 4 guys are gonna kick the shit out of each other together.
That's insane.
That's like a hell of a lineup. That Drew McIntyre Priest lineup was my first time watching either of those men do a whole match, and it was such a wild fucking match too that it just endeared me to both of them immediately. And so I really like that. But anyway,
we didn't get to talk about SmackDown, and that was WrestleMania, and that was really sad because I did have a really good time with it. Despite the
WrestleMania
sickness that I had on the other side of it.
Yeah, well, if we never drink again, we'll never have that problem, and we've both made that agreement now. We've sworn it off. We've sworn it off because it made me sick for like a week, and it made you sick, like actually feverish sick for like 3 weeks. Jesus. Yeah. Like, you're going into week 3 now, but, like, still.
But still, this is the longest I've ever had. Normally, my immune system is so good at kicking things.
Like, no high or drunkenness can possibly be worth this. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shit
Yeah, it's
sucks.
so fucked up.
That's why I know I can never be a junkie, by the way, is because, like, every time I get a hangover or something, I go, this sucks so goddamn bad, I never want to do it again. And this one was so, like, exponentially worse than usual that I was just like, fuck this shit forever then. The drinks were nasty. I wasn't even that drunk last night, and I drank, like, all my beverages almost. What the fuck? You know? And now I'm puking, and I'm sick, and I feel like shit, and I'm gonna feel like shit tomorrow too. I know it, you know. And so it's just one thing after the other, and with drinking. And so it's just like now, a lot of people say that. That's why I'm clarifying. Is a lot of people say that when they get like a hangover recently from the last time they drank. It's like, oh, I'm never drinking again, and then they're back at it next weekend. No, I damn near swore it off last time. I damn near swore it off last time, and then you tempted me back with it, because I was like, when else am I going to get an opportunity to drink with Jed, you know, because he doesn't drink that often, you know?
Yeah, well, because, like, that was the thing, was just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll fuck around, what's the worst that could happen? I guess I didn't realize that the worst that could happen is I could, like, fucking poison myself, practically. And, by God, the first week was so difficult after it, because it was just all, like, emotional mood swings. So, like, I was laying in bed and feeling like I was having all those intrusive thoughts, like, oh, you're a fucking terrible friend, dude, and not just that, you're a terrible son, dude.
I stopped messaging you at one point, because I knew that's what you were going through, and I just couldn't put up with it on, like, I was also having, like, some emotional turmoil. I was having, like, an emotional turmoil, if I can get those words back to back, of my own. And so, like, I was having a soup, and so, like, I had, like, soup brain, and you had soup brain, and I didn't want to have to, like, stress either of us out. And so, because, like, what would happen is, like, you would send me a text, I would say, like, hey, how are you doing? And I'd get back I still feel like shit, I'm sorry, I can't be in tonight, I know, I don't know if I'll be in recently, even. And I go, oh, don't worry, I've been having a good time. I've been keeping myself occupied, don't worry about it. And then you immediately respond with, oh, so you fucking hate me and want me to, like, stop being your friend and you want to abandon me forever now, right? Right? That's what's happening here now? And it's like, no, man, no.
Because, like, I was tweaking.
Because you were tweaking about it. Yeah, you were having, like, a really, like...
I knew I was tweaking, but, like...
I mean, it's not okay. Man. But, like, it's okay now, you know?
No. It's okay for me to have done that because I'm ill, but it's not okay because I was that
Like, it's
ill.
Okay for... Like, it's okay that you were mentally unwell. It's not okay that you were mentally unwell, is what I'm getting at. Like, I don't mind that it happened to me. I'm just saying that it's not cool that you were sick, you know?
Yeah. No, but that was just disastrous. Because, like, especially because I thought I was just going through, like, a regular, like, everything's gonna change, I'm gonna write my life around, when I was actually having a manic episode. So, like, I thought I was doing the right things, and I was like, if it's right, why does it feel so terrible? And because it was wrong. Would you believe it?
I think you made a lot of good points, but that's neither here nor there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Topic window, or the monitor was tweaking because I had my topic window selected.
Oh, was it?
It tweaked for just a second, yeah. But this summer, I think I should get into... I think I should put a little disclaimer out there that we haven't talked about this on the show in a minute. There have been some moving delays. We'll move when we move. All right? There's some real private stuff that's going on with that, like, honestly, if I knew how much detail I would have to get into on this podcast about it, I wouldn't have said anything about moving on the podcast. But, like, you know, it got delayed indefinitely, pretty much, which was bound to happen. I think we both saw that coming.
Yeah.
And, no, so, like, most of our summer plans were predicated on being in the same house together, and we still might be? Like, before the end of the summer?
Like, who knows?
But who knows? You're also, like, feeding me back to me, by the way. Like, I'm hearing myself through your headphones. Yep.
Oh, okay. That rarely happens.
It's not in your mixer, it's in your headphones.
Yeah,
no, I've just heard it a couple times. It's been, like, it's been going away before I could point it out anyway. What are you saying?
A lot of the stuff we were going to do was predicated on living in the same house, but there are a lot of stuff that can be done in summer as well. Like, I think we were really excited to go to, what is that new park called?
Epic Universe, dude. I've been hearing more and more about it. Parks. I've been hearing more and more and more about it over like the past few weeks because press were allowed in, and like it was like press and then friend. It was press at first, and now I think it's press and then friends and family of staff. I think, like that sort of thing. And so basically the park is open and full of people running around with phone cameras on TikTok. And so like I'm seeing a lot of the stuff and I'm really liking it. And it's not ruining it for me because it's like, dude, to see it in person will be a whole other thing, you know? And so like, it's cool to look at for now. And seeing it in person won't be until at least like August, you know? And so like I don't mind having a little sneak preview at some of the stuff. But it looks good. It looks very accessible, which is cool.
It does, yeah.
It looks very accessible.
And it looks very
like a lot of those videos.
It's got a lot of little niche things. Those videos?
Yeah. Those videos that I'm getting that I mentioned, those TikToks, a lot of them are like, hey, here's about the size of like a ride seat. Here's where the tester ride seats are. Every single ride, I think, has a tester seat, is what they said. Like, all of them.
That's good.
Every last one. That's what Universal is advertising, is that, like, every single one will have a little, like, dummy car outside of it that you sit in to go, okay, do I fit on this ride before I get in an hour-long line for it?
Yeah.
You know? And
yeah,
which for a guy like you or a guy like my husband who like you're real built and he's real little, and so like it is helpful in those cases to get like a gauge on it.
Because I've walked through a whole line to get to there, sit in it, and it doesn't click, and then you have to do the walk of shame out of there.
Yeah, you have to
and
do
like
the
hold up everybody else.
And like everybody knows what happened. Everybody saw you sit down and then like saw them lower the bar and it not click, and then the attendant wave you off and send you out.
Yeah.
And you have to depending on how the ride queue is, you have to walk past every single person who saw that on the way. It's like the most humiliating thing in the world.
It's the biggest walk of shame.
And like it is the single most motivator for me to not put on weight is something like that happening.
Yeah. And the worst part is that, like, I don't know. I'm just, like, again,
Yours
just
isn't even
really
a weight issue, dude.
Guy.
Like, it won't click because of your rib cage shape, not because you have a gut.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that's the other thing that I realized about, like, myself is that I've just, like, really got a fucking bone structure to me, don't I? Because I don't know. I always got that joke about, like, big boned. And, like, that's how I would say when I thought I was, like, fat. But no, it's quite literally true. Like, I just have a larger than average
got a
rib
large
cage
frame,
and shit.
Dude, and that's fine.
And
you know?
Dude, speaking of, like, hospitals, waiting room chairs, I've not fit into a waiting room chair in like, months. Like, they're always, like, pressing in on the sides of my legs because my hips are just too wide.
Those chairs are never comfortable, even for, like, I can
terrible.
report back as a guy my size, those chairs are always bad. The like, waiting room chairs everywhere suck, and it's like, and the ones in the office are better, and it's like, why would you want the one you're sitting in for, like, 10 minutes to, like, fill out paperwork or talk to, like, somebody to be the good one, and the one you're sitting in for, like, an hour beforehand to be the bad one? What the fuck, guys?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know? It just seems kind of twisted to me. Like some kind of sick, twisted ritual. I don't know. But either way, that new park is looking damn good. Mm-hmm. That is on my summer plans, because that opens, I believe, in May. Did it get delayed? It's open now? Okay, Basil's like doing massive hand motions at me. It's open now.
Wow.
Oh, wait, it is May.
That's crazy.
That's because it is May.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Fuck, the park is open.
Holy shit.
And or not, well, at the very least, you can buy tickets. I don't know about open. Oh, wait, no, you could buy tickets before. Okay. Sorry, he knows more about this than I do, so I'm having him, like, nod at me while I say things to like, ensure that, like, I'm fact-checked on it. But, like, you know, I don't know. Part of me really wants to do the whole thing. Part of me wants to, like, say fuck it, push it back to the off-season during, like, the winter, and then during the winter where it will be like 70 degrees pleasant days the whole time, and then like save that little extra money over the like fall instead, and then buy tickets that are like the big suite tickets where you get like a nice suite in like you get a good suite
sometime around
in the Grand
Christmas
Helios
time where
Hotel.
They have all the lights up.
Yeah, the Grand Helios Hotel is the hotel in the park, which also gives you like some amount of after hours access, I think. And so, or at the very least, you can look out your fucking window, because like the park is, I don't know if you've seen this place at night, but this is the prettiest theme park I've ever seen at night. Like, I don't think I would want to go during the day as much. Like, I still want to go. I still want to go, believe me. That's not a question. I'm just saying, like, that if I go and we're not there after hours for at least one thing at some point, I'm gonna be a little like, oh man, because that's on my bucket list of like things to do before we end that like trip, and so that's good. I like the theming too. They're doing such good theming. Disney is really scared, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
I've been getting a lot of videos about like Disney parks are like trying to do things to retaliate. Like they're making during like the opening month of May, if you have like a Disney Plus subscription, and like if you have Disney Plus subscription, they will give you like a massive discount on like their resorts in park during like the open season of Universal's new park, like to try to like curb some of that like fall off they're gonna get from people going to see the shiny new thing. But no, I genuinely, everything I hear about it is that it is the best theme park in Orlando, and possibly the world.
Damn.
In terms of like I am overall really excited theming and like food options and rides and attractions and shit, like it might, like everything I hear makes me more excited. And like there are things about like Universal where it's like, yeah, they've got like the Simpsons Land, of course, but like that's going away in a couple of years and has been there for like a decade, and so it's a little. And then there's like the Harry Potter area, which is the first time they ever really took a stab at theming anything for more than you're in a park on a ride, And so like the street theming there is pretty good, but it's not like quite as interactive or up to snuff as like their more modern stuff. And so a whole park of just like, here's everything that we've got this year, take it. And like this is the first brand new complete theme park in a minute. Like, and so, like, there's a lot of really cool shit they're able to do for being a new park opening this year, and like, how many, that's why I can kind of justify it a little more, as more than just, like, I would like to go, is when in the hell am I gonna get to go to a theme park the year it releases again? When the hell am I ever gonna have that opportunity to see this place
such a rare
when the original cast will still be there? Like, not only that, like, the original performers they hired, like, and hand-picked, like, with love and care as, like, you will be our opener. You will be the best at being the fucking, like, the, like, idiot character from How to Train Your Dragon. They're really doing a lot in Dark Universe. You say that about the Invisible Man. The Dark Universe area looks sick because it's all Universal stuff. So they just have carte blanche, pretty much, to do what they want with it. Because it's not, like, a licensed
and
property.
they're allowed to be, like... They're allowed to be a bit more macabre there. So, like, a lot of their performers... I saw one of the Invisible Man where it was, like... somebody had said something about, like, why can I see you? And he turns to them and he goes, because I wrapped myself in bandages and I'm wearing clothes, dumbass, practically. Like, he doesn't say dumbass, of course, but, like, he practically gives them that tone where it's like, all right, I didn't know you could talk to me like this, Mr. Performer.
No, the Universal, like, character actors are allowed to kind of be dicks to you a little bit. Like, in jest, they're allowed to sort of, like, fuck you, buddy. Like,
so,
like, the attendant at the fucking, the attendant at the thing, like, made several jokes, because I had, like, pineapples on my shirt when we were going to, like, do the, like, Raptor meeting thing in between rides, just because it was, like, we happened to walk past it at a time where that was an option. And it was pretty damn cool, too, to be fair. It was a neat little photo op. I just felt weird about it because it's like, oh man, this is a weird mix of like 8-year-olds excited about dinosaurs and 30-year-olds excited about dinosaurs, and we land right in the middle of that as like 20-somethings excited about dinosaurs. And so we go up, and they're like constantly joking about like, like every person that comes up, they're like, oh yeah, no, she's gonna fucking bite your ass, dude. She's gonna fucking get you, dude. Back up. Like, she is like rearing up to get your ass. Like, keep a safe distance. Like, they weren't saying it like that, of course, but it was that sort of like, watch out, this is a wild fucking animal, dipshit kind of tone at points, and it was like, okay, man, yeah, you're right. And so they're allowed to be a little cash with you, you know, and I like that.
Dude, performers are great. My uncle had a friend, and they aren't friends anymore,
No, really?
but either way, but he was practically my uncle as well. Oh my god.
You were saying you had this friend who's a performer, I assume?
So, yeah, he worked at Universal California, and he worked as, I think, Crash Bandicoot when they had Crash Bandicoot there, and he was the kind of guy who would play Crash Bandicoot. But it was so fucking funny. I don't know if I've told the story because I love this story. But he still had a friend that was working there one time when we went, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go like find my friend, and he's gonna give us like some free ticket passes." And that's what we did. Hell. But we went there, and he was working in a Minion costume, and his name was Dave. So Dave. We walk up, and we go up.
Wait, his real name was Dave?
Yes, his real name is Dave, and we go up to one of the attendants at this Universal place.
The Minion, perchance? At the time?
He would have been later in the day, but he wasn't clocked in yet. He was just in the back room.
Oh, okay. I thought you, like, your uncle was like, yeah, we're gonna go see my buddy who works at the park, and he'll give us free tickets. And he just rocked up to Dave the Minion in full costume and went, yo, Dave, you have some tickets for me? And, like, they dapped each other up, and, like, he gave him the tickets, and you guys walked away. Like, your uncle's just really cool with an actual Minion.
No, but we walk up to the attendant lady who, like, stands with the person in the Minion costume, and he goes like, "Hey, is Dave in today?" And they were like, "Dave is at the other side of the park. If you want to take a photo op, he's at the the Minion ride." And he was like, "No, we want to find Dave, the like, you know, the guy
employee,
who's in the suit,
your coworker."
And they were like, "Oh, okay." And then Dave walks out, and he's super chill, but he gives us like 50 fucking
Dude, could you imagine passes? She doesn't clarify, and she sends your ass to the other side of the park looking for Dave, and Dave was literally right there.
God.
Dude,
Dave is a goddamn minion.
Misunderstanding being like, circle the fucking park and back, and then you can meet Dave.
Oh, Jesus.
And get your fucking tickets.
Yeah. But no,
also
like,
the mental image of someone rocking up to a performer and going, hey, where's Dave? I'm really excited to meet Dave, the Minion.
The Minion, specifically. Yeah.
Like, I really want to meet Dave so badly that I will go up to an attendant and ask where Dave is, as though he is a real, actual person walking among us. You know? And that is
so goddamn funny.
There is at least one human being out there, I know for a fact. I've seen too many people do way too many embarrassing things in theme parks, like, to not have that kind of shit happen. You know?
Yeah, well, because it's real. Like, there are Disney adults who are like, "Where's Cinderella? Like, I need to meet Cinderella."
Yes, but Dave the Minion doing that for like Mickey,
Dave
or, like,
the Minion
Goofy,
is absurd.
Or fucking like, or, like, hell, even somebody like Captain Hook, sure, whatever. But somebody obscure as fucking Dave the Minion. Like, I think it's that the Minions are so interchangeable as characters.
Yeah,
it's like, why are you attached to Dave? What about Dave just draws you in?
Dave.
Why in the hell would you want Dave? And I'm just living in this world for a minute mentally where that park attendant was at, where like a grown ass man with another like with their like kid, but like was like, hey, where is Dave? We need to see
Dave, dude.
And then going, well, Dave is over there at the other end of the park at the Minions ride if you'd like to go take a photo op with him. And then the guy goes, before explaining further, no, you don't understand. I need to meet Dave. Before clarifying, like, the guy in the suit, not the character. And just, like, being there for a minute is like a, no, you don't understand. I need to meet Dave.
You don't get it, dude. Fucking Dave the Minion is. I have his ass, dude.
I've got his fucking for his arrest punched. Right here. How often do you think that happens? Man. How often do you think park attendants are approached by police as like a, hey, you're like coworker here, you know?
I'm thinking about somebody who like dodges their house payment and they have those bounty hunters come out for them. where they're like collectors.
Oh man, the guys who like aren't
just
cops,
like,
but are like bounty hunters, who like don't have to abide by that, who might actually genuinely just tackle a guy in a mascot costume. Full disclosure, I'm imagining Dog the Bounty Hunter doing this. The guy who screamed the N-word on live television. Yeah.
Really? I was thinking about
he did it in a voicemail and they played it. Oh, Mail Operator's pretty good too. I like him.
He's such a dickhead.
Funny. He's such a dickhead, and I don't know if I like him, but like I do like enjoy his methodology of storytelling. You know, yeah. I do like his storytelling. Well, I just don't know anything about, like, the actual guy is all. That's why I'm saying I don't know if I like him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I said I like him at first, and I went, well, I don't know if I like him. But, like, the stories are fun. Anyway.
The stories are fun.
The stories are really fun. But, otherwise, just a bounty hunter coming through to one of these parks and just attacking a man.
Fucking nailing the minion. Like, some kid is taking a photo with him, and some dude comes up and just fucking tackles him to the ground.
Nailing the minion.
Fucking bail bonds, I'm here to collect.
On the bail bonds,
fucking on the ground.
Oh my god. Do you think they let you in for free if you're a bail bondsman after an employee of the park?
No.
Like, do you think they let? Do they have to? Would you have to pay ticket price to go get that motherfucker?
No, I think you just wouldn't get them at their fucking place of work, dude. What?
You don't understand, dude. You don't understand. Some of these guys are duck dodgers, dude. They'll go. These guys will fucking book leave. It. Like, there is a reason there has to be a hired man to find this guy and serve him his papers, or alternatively bring him to the police. That is like, that is like, there is a reason there's a hired man out to do that. So, like, I wouldn't, like, they have to get them at their job sometimes. It's the only place they know for a fact they'll be.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that the park would allow them to just
the park is not going to allow that to happen if they can prevent it, you know? They probably will just let you get him backstage, though.
But speaking of summer events, man, you know what I realized while I was thinking about summer events?
What did you realize?
We're almost a year out from ConsoleCraft, and that was our summer event of last year. Like, last year's earlier summer was that. And that's really bizarre. Because that means that we're encroaching on the year of this. And of course, like, we have 3 more episodes until we've reached a year of Fight About It. But it's still surreal.
You're just not realizing we're almost at a year of Fight About It? Episode 50.
No, I knew that.
Man.
I knew that we were at a year. It's just they line up. Like, ConsoleCraft and Fight About It started.
10 of these.
Yeah. Well, but, like, Fight About It started, like, the first episode.
It did start very
we talked about how we were, you know, doing ConsoleCraft. So the fact that, like, oh, yeah, we're talking about new summer things on our podcast a little bit before the year that we started, it's surreal. And I think that it's, I'm really happy with where the podcast is. Well, I'm not necessarily really happy with where the podcast is at right now. We're in kind of like a weird lull, but I'm happy that we've made it to a year, and I'm hoping to continue on that front. But yeah, I was reminded of ConsoleCraft and that, like, yeah, it's been a year now. How do you feel about being like a year out from ConsoleCraft? For me, it's a little bit more important.
I liked ConsoleCraft a lot. I really did. I cherish ConsoleCraft very deeply as like this was good. This was really good. If every project I ever work on can be like this, that'll be fine. Even for like the workflow it put me into. If I can have that much fun doing a project again, I would absolutely take it in a heartbeat for like the level of work that it will be, you know? But that's a really good just time. How I feel about it. It's weird to be a year out from it. It's weird to be a year out from the start of it now.
Yeah.
It's damn strange. It's damn strange. But you know, I'm happy to be doing a year of this show. Honestly, that's stranger to me because this has been ongoing.
Yeah.
Like the ConsoleCraft stopped and this didn't, and so like like it
this just kept rolling. You know? I think that's why like, is that
episode 1 debating on if we could make 20 of these, like if we could make 20 of these happen, and now we're on 48.
There's so many parts about it that we didn't talk about at the time, but like the first episode's recording was a very interesting recording. Yeah,
Like,
we'll reminisce in another one.
We'll do it on 51. We'll have like an episode on 51.
Yeah, we'll have an
episode 1. But let's try and stick on theme. You got a summer thing you enjoy, Jed? You got a thing during the summer you want to actually talk about?
Man, there's so many things that I've done during the summer because I'm an Arizonan boy. So everything that we have here are summer things.
Right.
So like, I don't know. Honestly, my favorite summer thing is on the 4th of July. We'll sometimes drive up and go to like a family cabin that we have, and like watch the fireworks on the lake, and it's a good time. It's a fun time. But that typically leads to more things like fishing and water skiing and like what I would say are some pretty good summer activities that everybody should try at some point. I know it's hard to like.
I've never been water skiing because water skiing isn't. It's not even that it's that expensive to do. Like you could probably rent a water ski for the day for like a couple $100 and like make a day of it. But like the thing about it is I doubt it's even a couple hundred. Really, it's probably like a couple hundred. It's probably for the like deposit. And you get most of that back. Like that's how I would do it anyway. If I were renting jet skis or whatever. But either way. Like, all that stuff sounds fun. I've been fishing, and I like fishing quite a bit. I like real-life fishing, too, as much as I like video game fishing. Yeah. I just, I don't get the opportunity to fish as much, and I don't eat fish very often, and so I don't like to do catch-and-release fishing. I like to come home with something at the end of the day if I spend the day fishing. Same. Like, I like to come home, and I like to take the big one that I brought home with me, and, like, have it skinned, cleaned, cooked, and I like to sit down and eat it. That's what I like to do after a long day of fishing. That's just the ideal. In fact, hypothetically, Jed, think about this. Consider this. Lakeside.
Okay.
Fishing. We bring a grill with us. And all
catch
the equipment we need
I would
to
love
like,
to
catch
do
and cook. Just do a fucking catch and cook picnic so thing and just like tailgate
Especially because like I would love to do that, and I've actually thought about it because first of all, I'm coming there with a bunch of fishing equipment, and also you don't want to clean the fish.
So it's no worry to get all of it.
I can clean the fish.
Everything at Walmart for $20 in a box. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind being on grill, and then we could put you on cleaning and fishing, and then Basil can focus up fishing, and then we can make a day of it.
Like that is such like a quintessential summer thing for me.
That seems like such a traditional summer activity, and those sorts of traditional summer activities usually don't appeal. I don't know why I hit that at like a run, but like I just heard you speaking, and I was like, we're both gonna stop at the same time if we both stop, so I need to speed past where I'm gonna stop. But like I just usually that kind of stuff doesn't appeal, but lately it's like, good afternoon with the boys, having a fish, having a cook.
I don't know.
Snacking on it.
Like I would almost
fuck yeah.
I would almost even want to like get into hunting just to try it. Like that's a little bit more extreme.
Fun. I have less fun with that. Not because murdering an animal or whatever, like that's like I have my reservations about that, sure. But like if you're hunting to eat it, that's fine, like as long as you're gonna make use of it. I just like I don't like hunting because it's a lot of sitting. Like fishing, at least fishing is a lot of sitting, but fishing is a lot of I can put on like music and talk to people. When you're hunting, you have to sit in dead silence and wait for like a deer to show up. Well, at least when you're deer hunting.
But that almost sounds fun.
It is.
I think
fun.
that us it's crouching in the brush for like hours.
Nah, man. We'll get like as a nice like deer stand. We'll have a stand. And we'll sit there and we'll hunt for a while. I've been. It's a good time, and you can make some damn fine sausage. But like, man. It's just a lot of 6 o'clock, like, and the best time to hunt is like dusk and dawn, and so like, you're gonna want to go right before the sun comes up, even a good bit before at like 3:34, and then like once you get there, you're gonna want to set up and sit until the deer start coming out around sunup, and then like you're gonna want to fucking like get one, and then and it's really hard to get one because you have to be sitting in again. Stock still silence in a lot of cases because they're like very attentive prey animals. But yeah, no, hunting like that is fun. Hunting like that is really fun. It's just the not fun part of it is the part right before the shot and the part right after the shot where you have a big dead animal that you have to do something with now. Yeah, it's like, well, we got to load this bleeding thing onto a tarp and then into the back of the truck. You know?
Yeah. Or this bleeding things we have to string it up real quick and then like
so
gut
it
it
doesn't
and
do
then
that.
put it in the truck. Yeah.
But that's just that whole process immediately after is not fun either for me. And so it's just like hunting has less of an appeal. At least with fishing, the actual act of waiting for the fish and actively catching the fish are both really fun. You know, they're both a good time for different reasons.
I think I talked about this on the first half of this episode or the first chunk. But like I like just doing things to do things. Like I would love to just like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna go hunting today. Sure, why not? But like the problem is that like my dad never taught me how to hunt properly. So I know how to I know all the steps up to hunting, but I've never actually done it in practice. So that's
step one. Step one is getting our license.
Step one,
so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna have to spend like $40 at the DMV and like.
Step one is getting rifles, which is less fun because
I meant just for fishing or hunting. Like either way, we're gonna have to, like they make there's a fishing license and a hunting license. I think for our state. I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how it works in Florida though.
Either way,
I think they also have separate licensure.
You do need licenses. But
you can get like a big game license that also covers fishing here, and I don't know if that's an option in Florida. Either way, I could get into that. Some more outdoorsmanship would be nice during the summer. Maybe a camping trip, even. I don't know.
Yeah, camping. I definitely have camping on my list to do like multiple times with you guys because camping is another like. I don't know if camping's summer. I like camping in the fall because I like the
camping in the fall.
Air.
The heat is a little much in the summer, but
yeah,
I was just thinking about hunting and how much like the fall is a nice time to hunt actually because of the weather and shit. Like it would be, you know, if fucking
yeah, if the animals were there. Oh wow!
I went to like tab something up. So I was like, when does deer season like begin and end actually? Because I don't think I've ever like looked at the dates exactly. And so I was about to Google that. So anyway,
yeah.
But no, that could be fun. But I was just thinking about how much fun hunting and camping could be in that way. Of just like take a weekend, hunt it, fucking skin it and shit, and cook it right there. Make a weekend of it. It's like a longer form of the like fucking catch and fish idea. But I don't know. I always think big on shit like that.
There's always so many logistics when you have to get into something like this because like we would have to like get a chest freezer so that we would have space to have that amount of meat, and it's like there's so many things that make things inaccessible. I think there should be way more like
I'm sorry, a chest freezer is everybody I know owns a chest freezer.
Every single human being I know owns a hunter, it's a lot harder to be like, I'm gonna pay $90 at like this fucking Home Depot to get a chest freezer.
I would love a chest freezer. I didn't know they were $90. I thought they were like $200 or $300. I would have already owned one if I knew.
They can be up to there.
But they can be really expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never lived in a house without one. Now that I think about it.
Huh. Yeah,
and we don't even use it for hunting. We use it for like excess freezer storage. We're like a family of like 8.
Oh yeah,
and so a lot of groceries need to happen.
Like we have a chest freezer as well, but I mean like you would have to have an explicit "this is my meat chest freezer" for
you would need like a meat locker. Yeah, like you would need somewhere to put it. I mean I know some guys who know some guys at like a deli in town that will just like if it's clean we'll fucking put it in the back for you. Like, for like a fee, we'll hold it and cut it for you. You know.
Yeah, I think those are really cool
because like sometimes they'll take some places offer. I don't know that they officially offer it, but they definitely offer it for like friends and friends of friends and shit.
Yeah, sometimes they'll take like a portion of the venison and just be like, "Hey, I'll butcher this. You'll get back like 75% of this, and my payment will be the venison." Yeah.
That's fair. I like that kind of bartering stuff. I'm not necessarily like itching to join a commune tomorrow, but I think it's nice in a capitalistic society that occasionally we can just go, you don't have to pay me. I just like, can I just have a little piece of this? Like just like to sell or to have either way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can I just like take a little off the top and then do this service for you and that will be my payment? And like the fact that that's agreeable is great.
As a society, I think we need to do more of it because I think that was a lot of what like balanced it out is like I can call my brother to like yeah, he'll help me pay the house. I'll buy him a pack of beers, and in 2 years, when he wants to paint his house, he'll call me. Like, I don't know. That's something that I think has been lacking in the world as of late with like late stage capitalism. I don't even know if it's late stage capitalism, but just in capitalism in general. But
yeah, that's the thing though. That's the thing. That's what we need to do more of this summer. Bartering.
Bartering?
To get real big into bartering. But
yeah.
On a subject change, I think I have a hot take about summer activities.
Do you?
I think I have a hot take, but it's a 2-part hot take. The first part isn't that hot. The second part's pretty warm though. The beach sucks is part A. The beach is bad.
Okay.
It's awful. I have to be in like a very specific mood to enjoy the beach, and that's whatever opinion. That's like 50% of the population. The beach is a very love it or hate it, you know.
Yeah.
And then like, but not only that, lakes are better. Like lakes and shit, like small like inland body of water, like surrounded by like trees and shit. No, yeah, that's good. That's great. Little secluded spot. That's better.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. We're gonna have so much like marsh around us though, as well, and that's a little bit different than like a lake.
I still dig that. I still think that's nice. I mean, you can't do a lot of fishing or hunting in the marsh at all because it's a lot of protected land. But like, and it's a lot of like some of that's a national park, and so I wouldn't even want to get like touch any of that if I could avoid it. You know,
but yeah. There are so many summer activities to do in Florida, and that's why it's such a damn shame that I won't make it until probably after summer's over. Like, we don't know, because again, it's indefinite.
We don't know. It's a real upshot right now. It's like it could be based on decision. It could be next week. It could be 3 months from now. That's literally the lineup right now. Is depending on how things go. We're out of here in 3 weeks or like several months, anywhere in that time frame, you know. And so, I need to get back to my fucking life. Is the issue? I need to get back to doing things, and so I'm slowly like easing myself into it. I've been slowly easing myself back into it, and I think I want to get back to content before the summer's over. I want to get back to content. I want to get back into the swing of it. I want to make more stuff. I want to do more stuff. I want to have a more healthy life balance, because right now it's a lot of leisure, and I need a little more work to go with my play lately, I think. And so like I need to start doing something to like build again. Like now that I'm like out of practice with content and have had my hiatus. I might even take this as rebrand time. I don't know. We'll find out. Thinking about a rebrand? Thinking about a rebrand. I don't want to get any details on it, but I'm thinking about a rebrand. I don't know. A very light one. But regardless, it's gonna be a good content summer, I think. I think I'm gonna so too. Try and run up to that while the spring is going, and then by summer I want to have started doing content. Like I want to have started again up on some form of content that isn't the podcast again, whether it be streams or YouTube videos or whatever. Like I want to get back to something, one piece of it at the very least, before the summer starts, and then I want to be back to all of it by the time the summer ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things
about how like we're wanting to divert a little bit away from the Minecraft content sphere a bit more. Like progressively. So I think that's gonna be really enjoyable to just like go back to streaming weird shit like Raft or things like that, because I think that's
so good. I enjoy
the most. I loved like that, and We Were Here, and all those ones where it was just like this is a game that we were just fucking around with. Those were like some of the best streams. You know what we could get like roll back into is we promised that we would play a Split Fiction. So that would be a pretty good like rollback into like co-op stream.
That'd be a good pickup. That would be a good pickup. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But there's another thing. There's another thing that you've been neglecting that I thought you would bring up at some point that you haven't brought up at any point during this show, is that, you know, because the move is like kind of in and out, who knows if this is a real possibility, and maybe that's why you haven't mentioned it. But we're going to be playing fucking music together by the end of the summer, assuming the move happens in a reasonable amount of time. with that asterisk on it, there's a good possibility that we could finally get to that. And I know you were hype as shit about that right before you got sick.
Incredibly exciting. Because like, so I've grown up with music, but like the most music that I ever got into group wise was I would play bass and my dad would play his guitar and he would sing country music or whatever and I would just play the bass line to it. But that was really fun. And I had this moment of realization that I have all of the, like, everything it takes to make, like, a 90s garage band. I have it all, and you guys both have vague interest in bass and drums. So I was like, shit, alright.
Yeah, and I've been getting back to VR recently. I might be able to get a jump on learning. Yeah. I want to look into it. I know it won't be the same, and I know there will be an adjustment to, like, having a kit in front of me, as opposed to doing it virtually, but it might help me with, like, timings and shit ahead of that, so that I at least have, like, a framework to build on, maybe? But I don't know, I need to do more research. I need to do more research and see if, like, learning that way is going to be detrimental when I switch over to learning physical.
It's definitely not as good as, like,
well, I just don't want it to put me into, like, some bad habits that, like, just will not work when I make the move over. So I don't want to, like, I don't want to have that be my, like, introduction to it, if it's gonna be, like, whack-ass. So I'm gonna look into it a bit and see what options there are for that.
To get into it, grab a practice pad and a pair of sticks. You can just, like, practice drills and timings, and then you can practice your, like, tempo and shit, and you'll, like, have a feel for how the drumsticks work.
Yeah. No, maybe I'll pick that up over the summer then at some point as, like, a cheap really little, like, here, this will give me, like, this will be the way that I get that framework first to build from. It's like, I feel bad, because this is, like, months out, but I have nothing to, like, learn with here. And so it's like, I could be, like, fairly fluent by the time we actually get around to this, you know, and save us both a lot of time by just getting my learning out of the way now, because I'm behind you and Basil both by, like, a mile in terms of this shit. And so it's like, it would help me play keepy uppy a little bit. And, you know, I've just neglected to do that. But there are options, and I think I will get into that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm hyped too about it, to be clear. Like, I'm pretty hyped too. This is brand new to me. I got no experience either way. Yeah?
Yeah. Just because it's like, that's what a lot of bands were, at least. Like, bands nowadays are a little bit different. But in the 90s, it's just like, hey, we all vaguely had interest in playing music, and we all did it. And that's, congratulations, you have a band. Yeah. Like, that's genuinely really exciting to me, especially because, like, I don't know, I learned guitar, but I always learned, like, solo guitar, like, one guy with an acoustic guitar and singing. And so it's been really nice to, like, stretch the muscles of, like, learning rhythm guitar or a guitar lick that doesn't sound good on its own, but with a band it does sound good. Right. I don't know, that's just really exciting, and I was really excited for it for this summer. But I don't know, what else do you have for your summer activities?
Oh boy, a lot of movies coming out this summer. A lot of stuff I'm really excited for. You got anything in particular that you're looking at this summer? Because I looked up the summer movie releases, and it's not as packed as I remember. But, like,
well, your birthday month is really packed.
My birthday, July is a big movies month anyway. It's just this year is a big movies year, clearly. And so, like, we're getting Superman, we're getting Fantastic Four, we're getting those two both on either side of my birthday, I believe. Like, Superman's end of June, and then, like, Fantastic Four is, like, middle of July. And so I think they sandwich either that or they're back-to-back after. It's one of the two. But, no, yeah, those two movies. I remember there being more, and I'm sure there are more. But those two movies especially are, like, a huge, like, wow, you know? And I hate that they're both superhero movies. Sinners came out recently, speaking of movies that came out.
I have not seen stuff about it, but I have no clue what
I've heard a lot about it, and, like, it sounds really interesting. And people, like, a lot of what I'm hearing are like, wow, people didn't go to see this movie. That sucks. People don't want art. People went to see the Minecraft movie, not this. And it's like, yeah, I went to see the Minecraft movie. I would have went to see Sinners too, though, if I knew it existed. Yeah. Don't blame me for bad marketing, dude. I didn't know this movie was a thing until its theater run was over, and every art critic on my Twitter was talking about how much I suck for not having gone to see it. You know?
I hate that, man. that really bugs the shit out of me when shit like that happens, because it's like, fuck you. It's not like this is not an either or situation, dude.
Yeah, like one of these movies succeeded and one of these movies flopped. That had nothing to do with each other though. But also, you did release your movie the same weekend or a weekend around when the Minecraft movie was coming out. So you're gonna get overshadowed, dude. That is a foregone conclusion that is nobody's fault. And then, like, again, no marketing. I don't know why that is. I haven't heard anything about it. I just, like, again, I didn't know this movie existed.
Yeah.
I heard of it by name one whole time before the theater run was over. Once. One time.
Yeah.
And and that was not a plot thing. That was they were making some vague reference about it on TikTok. And I was like,
that was the thing.
Okay.
The first time I heard about it was a reference to it, and I'm
hearing people who did see it talk about it, not not anything about the actual movie. And like I have heard things about the movie, and it does sound good. I wasn't like jesting about that or anything. I don't know. It sucks that studios don't want to market the fucking movies they put out anymore. It makes no sense to me. Shitty. Because it's like, not only are you fucking over the creator, you're fucking over the movie that you just spent like $1 billion making, dude. Why? Why not just spend the extra like $200,000-300K or whatever on top to like market it so it will make like a couple more million in the fucking box office?
Seriously, especially if you have a film that is good too. Like apparently I've heard Sinners is like
Sinners is like the movie of the year according to some people. Like it is the best movie that's come out so far in this first like third of the year here. And I'm really excited to see it because I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, it does look interesting from what I've heard. I think it's a vampire movie, right?
It's a vampire movie about like racial issues, I think. Like it's about like the only plot points that I've heard are that it's about vampires and that it's a thriller about vampires in a modern setting, and that's really interesting. But also vampires are like they're like I don't know the specifics. I don't know who's included and who's not in the Sinners vampires thing. They're all people of color. Is the thing about the vampires. So it's like a race thing. It's like a racial thing. But from what I hear, apparently the vampires in that movie are really like the actual like antagonists of the movie vampires. Like those guys are actually pretty like slick from what I hear. Like those guys are pretty like not only are they like scary or whatever, like intimidating and shit. I hear they're actually like really like cool to watch on screen too. And so like I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I really wish I saw it in theaters because I had like go to the movies money at the time and I could have totally swung and got it. You know, I could have totally swung and saw it. I just, I didn't hear anything.
That new like what is it called? The fucking new Marvel movie. I can't. It's some like bullshit name, and they have an asterisk at the end of it for like no goddamn reason.
An asterisk? Thunderbolts? Are you talking about fucking Thunderbolts?
Yeah, they put an asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts. And it's apparently like a thing. But like, I've seen nothing about that either. I know that it's coming out.
I didn't know that it was. I didn't know. Like, I guess this is how they do pre-marketing now. I knew about Thunderbolts. I heard they were making Thunderbolts a year ago from a leak. And I was like, yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thunderbolts movie. Why not? And then, like, I looked away. And then, oh no, it wasn't even a leak. It was like D23 last year or something. Like, where they were, like, announcing, like, here's the next phase of the Marvel Universe. And Thunderbolts was on there. But, like, remember when they showed Phase 4 and only made, like, a third of those movies and shows? Yeah, me too.
Dude, we were supposed to get, like, something, like, Avengers the Dragon or something, like,
we were supposed to have we were supposed to have, like, a proper, like, Hulk movie by now. And I think, I don't know if the new one is what they promised a few years ago. But, like, there was supposed to be, like a fucking, like, Hulk versus everybody goddamn movie coming out at some point.
Didn't we just get the fucking Red Hulk Winter Soldier movie? Why the fuck do we have another Winter Soldier movie?
We're getting another Winter Soldier?
What?
Well, that was a Hulk movie that had the Winter Soldier in it. Right? Got Harrison Ford in it,
that was Captain America, like, something...
Oh no, Red Hulk's in the new Captain America, right? What?
But they also have a Thunderbolts movie that has Bucky. We never got a Hulk movie. No, Bucky is, because like the only promotion that I've seen for it is Bucky doing the like the actor
They just
like
don't
doing
know
the
what
most
to do with Bucky
half-assed.
Barnes. I don't think.
They have no
I just don't
clue.
think they know what they want to do. That's
did
the thing. These Marvel movies, I don't know that I like them as much. Like, because it's like I've noticed, and like it's obviously been noticeable for a very long time that Marvel movies are kind of like stilted because actors are acting against green screens with nobody else around. But I didn't know the extent of it until I got like a thing explaining that like no. Like the actor for Bucky, he didn't know that he was affected by the snap. What they told him on that day while he was standing on a green screen was, okay, fall over. And he had to ask, like, both the Russo brothers before one of them would tell him what the actual scene was. You know? And it's like, if we're at the point where actors literally, like, aren't allowed to know what scene is happening, then maybe we should stop keeping secrets about movies entirely.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Like, and it sucks because it's like, yeah, like, that's a big moment in the movie and you don't want it spoiled. And I'm sure it probably would have been if you had been, like, really flagrant about filming it. But you could at least privately let the actor see the whole goddamn script. If you can't trust your actors with a copy of the script, then you need new actors or a different script. That's the answer.
Like, the end of season 7 of The Walking Dead ended, and they did the exact same thing, where they recorded they recorded like 12 different takes of each person in that lineup getting their head bashed in. So that
like that kind of stuff I don't mind, but like at least they went out of their way to actually film a take of all of it. They put the foot forward to make it like to obfuscate the information. You can't just like not tell anybody. You gotta you gotta like build a thing on it. You gotta confuse people, not like leave them in the dark, especially not your actors at least.
The other really famous time that something like this has happened was when the actor for Anakin from the prequels, they wanted to have him as like a Force ghost at some point, and they didn't ever tell him what they were doing it for, so they were just like, okay, now stand on this green screen and just like kind of stand there for like, we're gonna use it for promo. And then he like watches one of the re-releases of the original movies and he's like, is that me? It just kind of standing there. That's the take. That's what I did this for. I couldn't like. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why in that article, tell your actors?
In that thing, I was getting news about like. Are you serious? Oh, okay, good. Oh, it's coming back to like IMAX. Sinners is coming back to IMAX. Basil's just handed me their phone with an article about that on it. I thought they were handed me. I thought I'd like recognized. Like I just saw a big guy with long hair and was like, is he stopping the show to hand me his phone and show me a WWE matchup poster right now? Is that what's happening? How big of a match could this be? You know, and then I read the thing and it was like, oh, so Sinners, funny. IMAX, cool, got it. But either way, in this article, I was reading things from like the actress for, I believe, Captain Marvel was like, or not Captain Marvel, because I don't know what actress we're talking about. Not Brie Larson. That's what I'm saying. Is like I know Brie Larson's name and I know like her character and like how to link those two together. It was a name I didn't recognize, I don't think, but it was somebody that like we would know from the movies. Was like talking about seeing the movie that they were in and going, yeah, I was so surprised. They didn't tell me any of this was going on around me when I was acting against it. I'll be so surprised when the movie comes out. And they saw it on the red carpet, and they were like, whoa, I didn't know it would be anything like that. That was cool. And it's like, no, it's not cool. No.
Yeah, it's not cool at all.
Because you didn't know what you were acting about. You didn't know what emotions you were supposed to feel or what you were even seeing in front of your own two eyes, dude.
Like, that's the worst part about where movies have gotten. And I think we talked about this recently.
It's not even that actors are bad. It's not even that the actors are bad. They're good actors. They're just given nothing. The studio won't give them anything. We're just like letting the movie, like we're letting the film industry be run by people who refuse to do anything to improve the industry and only want to do things that help them specifically and their bottom line. And even then, they're doing stupid shit that doesn't help their bottom line. So I don't understand. It just means that we as movie lovers just don't get what we want at the expense of like some like network executive or like film executive out there somewhere. You know, making a couple extra dimes and feeling satisfied in his decision making.
Movies like Marvel movies, we've talked about this, have gone from filming being this like, everybody's on set and they're really playing the character.
Like Avengers was like
I'm told
an
to
event.
run on a treadmill. I'm told to run on a treadmill in front of a green screen, and that's all of it. That's the entirety of what some actors do. Is like that one Ant-Man movie that's
They
all
run on a
CGI.
treadmill.
There's so many
Yeah.
of that.
They spend all their time.
Like-
and granted, that one was a little better. They're getting a little better about it because we're moving away from green screens and moving towards those like projector screens that just look really good on camera, where you can project the CG in real time so that the actors know, like, okay, this is about where I'm at, and this is about what I'm doing. That's the part I have trouble with. I have trouble with all the CG too. Like, that's a different problem. But like, it's just the amount of information these actors are given is not enough to do their jobs properly, and thus we get a weaker product for it. And the only person that wins is VFX artists and like the people who save money on like not doing anything practical. And even then, you don't save money in a lot of cases. Like they CG'd fucking what's her name's helmet on from that Thor movie. And like they made a real helmet. Like they made a real helmet, and then they still just CG'd it on instead of having her wear it. Or maybe it was Thor himself. I can't remember. It was somebody in that movie. Either way. You were saying?
Could you imagine Severance or a film like that's so, or not film, but like some sort of media like that's so actor heavy that something like Severance couldn't work on like a green screen set. I don't think.
No, that kind of thing wouldn't work.
Like,
because there's no like reality to it, there's no grounding at all. And then on top of that,
I don't know.
The people actually in it aren't grounded either. Like, they have no grounding for the scene either, so it's like, well, fuck, and like,
I think that's my issue with, like, the film industry,
is that we miss out on great art that just can't be made under the current, set of circumstances, No, I agree.
Yeah.
The current, practices in the film industry are bad. So there's this thing about 90s anime. This relates, I swear. There's this thing about 90s anime, I was just thinking about it the other day, in that, apparently we just don't know how to replicate that look anymore. Like, all the guys who did that shit are all, dead or too old and just don't want to teach people to do it. So they've just lost recipes. They have no idea how they got shit to look that way in a lot of cases. And, there's no one left to tell the tale because everybody moved on to doing it digitally or other methods by then. And so, that's 3 methods of animation ago, and it's just lost to time. I'm sure you can reverse engineer it, but nobody has. And even then, you wouldn't be able to say for certain that that's how they got there,
That's really sad. That's
and
really
so
sad.
I worry that we're going
blowing.
to look back at things like fucking the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that does use CGI, but uses it wonderfully to beautiful effect.
Yeah.
Or the first Avatar, as much as I don't like to sing that movie's praises. But the first Avatar even, those movies are a visual wonder of a good bit of practical in with it, but mostly VFX, and it's really good VFX. I just feel like we're losing that recipe too, is all. I feel like we're losing the recipe to blend them properly and do it right. I worry about that being a problem at some point.
We've got
20 years from now, looking back at shit, looking back at movies in the 90s and going, yeah, we can't make those anymore. I don't know how,
Yeah, we've just become far too reliant on, visual effects, and we'll fix it in post, That I think that, again, it's lost a lot of its soul, and the worst part is that it makes the actors look the worst. Because it's difficult to act under situations where it's I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. And I think Marvel's the biggest sinner when it comes to that. But Sinners, that did come out this summer.
Maybe we'll go see it now that it's coming back in the summer.
Yeah, that would definitely be an enjoyable thing.
I think that might maybe just be our show today. I think we've just wrapped it. It's weird because the fucking thing says an hour and a half, so I don't want to wrap because it doesn't say 2 hours on it. But I know for a fact there's another half hour of recording waiting on me. Oop, I'm dropping stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
where can they find the show?
That's the show. You can find the show. That's a good question. You can find the show in the description at our card page. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify. Also on that card page is our socials, where you'll get announcement posts when things come out and other things that we're doing. And show comes out every Sunday at 3 p.m. on those platforms. Feel free to check it out. It's live on YouTube, kinda. It's a premiere. So, like, you can engage with people during the premiere, and sometimes we're there for those. So, go check it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the show. Jesus.
I think that's it.
Goodbye!
Yeah. Bye-bye!
Dude, my head is fucking killing me, dude. Yeah, no, fucking Jesus Christ.